Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Come on in. This is our session tonight or today on business plan and equipping yourself for growth. So come on in. We're so excited to see you today. I hope you had a great day today. And I hope it was a day full of power and everything. So come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on in. If you're not familiar with me, I want to take this opportunity to just go ahead and welcome you to this evening's session. I'm so glad that you're here with us and here for the developing your business plan. It's great to see you. So hello and welcome. Our agenda tonight will be on mission versus mantra, understanding your reasoning and why you're here, adopting your growth, preparing for access to capital, and the main course, the main areas of a business plan. Okay. So I'd like to say my name is Natalie Williams, and I am an award-winning, sought-after business coach and business development strategist, motivational, inspirational speaker, author, and I am an expert in nonprofit strategic clarity around business practices, implementations of strategies, fund development, and things of that nature. So that's a little bit about me. I like to take this time and opportunity to truly thank NAV-GA for this wonderful opportunity to be before you today. I'm not going to be that very long. We're going to talk for about a good hour, maybe an hour, 5 or 10 minutes. And today's session is on building that business plan. And so I'm so excited to be here with you. But again, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank NAV-GA for allowing me to be here and present you with this wonderful, great resource of information. So if you're new and just getting started and you're trying to figure out things, even if you're not new, I like to let people understand that a business plan is designed for several reasons, and we'll talk about a little bit of that today. But again, welcome, 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 welcome. So let's go ahead and get right into this thing. And guess what? Let's get rolling. So the first slide that you see before you is why you? Why your business? What is your reasoning for being? And so when we are thinking about designing our business plan and talking about certain things, the reality is we have to think about this first. Why you? Why is someone looking to do business with you? And in doing business with you, why your business specifically, right? And so it's really important that you understand the why, but more important is the value that you bring to your customer. Is what is the problem that you are solving for? What problem do you want to solve? So what are the issues that are out in our communities? What is out in our e-commerce and our ecosystems that is missing? And what are you particularly solving for? And how is that possible that it comes through you and comes through your business? Okay, so let's think about that as we go along through thinking over the strategies of the business, thinking over the business plan, because that is going to be the preeminent question for tonight. Why you? Why your business? And what is your reason for being? Why do you exist as a business owner, or why do you want to exist? And what are you solving for? So write those questions down. Why you? Why your business? What is the reason you exist, right? And then what problem do you want to solve for? So we talked a little bit about the why you, the power of your why. Why you? Why you? Why do people want to do business with you? So identifying your traits, your personal SWOT, it's really about building your brand, your personality, and all those things, right? Your brand literally defines who you are. It talks about your clothing, your hair, your attitude, your conversation when you show up. It is really what people see before you even walk in the room, before you even have an opportunity to really open your mouth. So people are reading you about your brand, right? And so they want to know, does your conversation about what you do, does it add up to your vision and your mission? And then on top of that, what are the values that you and your business literally stand by every day? So one of the top questions I always get is, what's a mission statement versus a vision statement? So think about it from this perspective. Your mission is the reason why your company exists. So we got to go back one quick question. We got to go back one quick slide. Why you? What is your reasoning for being? Your mission statement is the reason why your company exists. So it is the visible and tangible effort that you want your company to create for your customer and for the world. Let's say that again. It is the visible and tangible effect you want your company to create in this world and for your customer. So what do you want to create? What is that right now mission? The vision is what success looks like for your company. So it is what your company, it's what you aspire to be in the future, right? In the future, it is how the world will look once you have accomplished your mission. Think about that. So your values, these are the guiding principles that will influence your actions day to day to fulfill your company's mission and your company's vision. So if you were unclear on those things, your mission, write it down, is the reason why you exist, but it basically is the visible, intangible effect you want your company to have on your customers and in this world. The vision is actually what your company aspires to, right? And that aspiration happens in the future. The values are the guiding principles that actually influence all of the actions that you do to fulfill both the vision and the mission. So your values increase your confidence so you can drill down on your target, right? For your why. Why you? Why should someone buy from you? Why you? Why should someone want the product that you have? Why you? What is it about your brand? What is it about your product? What is it about the services that you provide that individuals want to buy from you? So why you? Think about that, okay? Think really hard. But again, your mission is literally having that effect. What's the effect you want to have on your customers? Now, your mantra is a sacred word, sound, or a phrase. So, for example, my mantra is, if I could but help someone, then I know my living is not in vain. What is your mantra and how does that work with your mission? What is your mantra? Write that down. What makes you get up? What is that sacred word? What is that sacred phrase that happens to you every day that makes you design your walking, your living, your talking, your business around it? Is it the fact that you made a mantra that no child will be left behind? Is your mantra that a terrible mind is a thing to waste? What is your mantra? Think about your mantra as it relates to your mission. So, my mission is to help and support economic development organizations and small businesses gain clarity around business practices and facilitation through solutions, right? I provide the business solution. That is my mission. Again, my mantra is if I can help someone, right? So, what is your mantra? Why do you do what you do? What draws you to doing that thing? What pumps you to getting that thing done? So think about your mission versus your mantra. Your mission is something that you want to have an effect. Your vision is that what you aspire to. My aspiration of my vision is that I can help over 10,000 small businesses and reach over 1 million women, right? That's my vision. That's what I aspire to. What are you aspiring to? So when we talk about this business plan, the one thing I definitely want to talk about is the legal structure of the business. Many times when we start the business, we're really unclear about the legal structure that we should take, what road we should go with that, right? So today I wanted to talk about obtaining the appropriate legal structure. And as we look at that, we see in the first column, it says business structure. The second column denotes the ownership, third column, the liability, and the fourth column, obviously, the taxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 different types of business structures that are listed here. The most common right now is the limited liability. But what we want to do is we want to go over each one of them because we want you to clearly understand what your options are. So many small businesses says, hey, I want to do a limited liability, but I don't know, what's my tax liability? Or am I liable for this, that, and the other? And how many members can I have in my business when I started that way? So the easiest one to form is, of course, the sole proprietorship. One person, your unlimited personal liability, which means that you have unlimited liability. You yourself, your personal, your household, you're liable for anything that happens in this business. Your self-employment taxes flow through your personal taxes. Okay. The second one is the partnership. That's 2 or more people. Normally, you would get a partnership agreement. And I heavily encourage that. Get a partnership agreement. But generally, it's 2 or more people with unlimited personal liability, unless that business is structured as a limited partnership, which is an LLP. Okay? Unless it is structured as a limited partnership. If it's just a partnership and it's no LLP, then you are again at risk and have the unlimited personal liability. Your taxes as well are self-employment taxes, except for the limited partnership. Okay, so except for the limited partnership, otherwise you are self-employment taxes, and it does go through your personal taxes. Again, the most common is the limited liability, which is the LLC. That could be 1 or more persons. Owners are not personally liable. So if you can see here, it's much different than the sole proprietorship as well as the general partnership. Okay, not the LLP, but the general partnership. Your employment taxes are personal taxes, or they could be corporate taxes. So you can have a corporate tax filing as an LLC, okay? And you could have more than 1 member in the LLC, all right? So your corporation is another business structure, which is your C Corp. So there's your C Corp and your S Corp. Your C Corp can be 1 or more people. Again, the owners are not personally liable because all of the liability falls on the business, right? And you have what is considered corporate tax. Corporate tax, okay? The corporations, which are normally, again, an S Corp. So you have a C Corp and then you have an S Corp. Now, the difference between the two is this. The S Corp, one or more people, but no more than 100. And everybody must be a U.S. citizen. Okay? Must be a U.S. citizen. Owners are not personally liable, and it is a personal tax liability. Last but not least is your corporation, which is your nonprofit organizations. So how many nonprofits do we have out there tonight? Okay, so your nonprofit organization, one or more people, okay? Owners, again, are not personally liable. However, the tax is a tax exemption, but corporate profits can't be distributed, okay? When you have the C Corp, that's something that's a little different. So this, I wanted to make sure we touched on before we got into building this business plan. It is so important to understand the structure of the business before you even create the business. The other thing that is extremely important is connecting with key community partners that can help you grow your business, okay? So in developing your business resources, you need to make sure you have what is considered your bail. Can you stay out of jail or have your bail, okay? Your bail consists of your banker, your accountant, your insurance, and your lawyer. I put the FR on mine, the bailer, or I like to call it the blifer, okay? Because now I've included my HR specialist and my financial advisor. So what I suggest is this: when starting the business or even developing another pivot in the business, right? You could be in business for 2 to 5 years, doesn't really matter. Connect with key community partners. So your banker, if you are with the bank currently and you're not satisfied, or if you're new, survey up to 5 different banks. Yes, review their products and build a relationship. Every bank may seem like they have a checking and savings account, but each one of the products yield a different return. Okay, so make sure that you have researched at least 5 banks. Is it online banking available? Is there a limited amount that you have to have? You know, you need to figure out which product works for you. Do you have to have a limited number of transactions or a maximum number of transactions? So those are the types of questions that you want to ask when you go to the bank. Because for dollar to dollar, you know, if you go below a certain amount, there may be a fee associated with it. You know, do you have to have $15,000 or $5,000 in the bank to not be charged? These are things that you need to know up front before you even start, okay? The lawyer, obtain assistance with contracts, obtain assistance with contracts. Said so often, corporate agreements, trademarks, patents, anything that is associated, intellectual property. You want to reach out to a lawyer, okay? And one that can handle your industry as well, okay? So you want your contracts, contract agreements, your proposals, all of that to go through the lawyer. So one of the things that I suggest that you do is sit down and write on a piece of paper, what services do I need? What services am I looking for? And what services can I afford? What services do I need? What services am I looking for? And what services can I afford? Okay. An accountant. So many people say, oh, I got an accountant, I got a CPA and all these other things. So let me say this, an accountant, a bookkeeper, and a CPA, they are all 3 different people. And just like anything, you get what you pay according to the level of skill, education, talent, and licensure. Okay, so obviously a CPA is the highest level. An accountant would be next, and then your bookkeeper is the person that would pretty much manage your day-to-day functionalities of bookkeeping services. Okay, an accountant helps you to manage your dollars from the beginning so there are no surprises. So it may feel intrusive, but you have to have a lot of conversation with your accountant so that they can understand first the structure of the business, why you're in business, and then make suggestions as it relates to line items, categories, debts, and revenue. Okay, and not only that, they can also make suggestions in regards to your fiscal cycle and the type of accounting that you will use for your business, whether it be accrued accounting or cash accounting. Okay. Insurance. Obtain insurance on the business as soon as feasibly possible. As soon as feasibly is possible. Oftentimes people say, well, I'm a small business owner. I don't need to get insurance. It's just me. Well, if you're a business owner and you're having events and you're taking people places and people are on your property or coming on your property or coming on anybody's property to be that way, to attend an event that you're located, they get hurt. There we go. There it is, a liability. And if you are a sole proprietor, you assume all liability. Remember that. Okay. So get an insurance, go get a quote from a small insurance company, or you can start with where you are. Oftentimes, the companies that you're at, they usually offer a small business package. So ask. Okay. No harm in asking. Your financial advisor, talk about ways to build wealth and streamline revenue for a greater retained earnings and inheritance. So the part about this starting business, the question is why? Why are you in this? Why are you starting the business? And oftentimes, a lot of people say, I want to leave an inheritance. I want to create generational wealth. So we're going to talk a little bit about the financials, right? Because that's what really generational wealth is about, not just money, but financing. That may be investments and things of that nature. Okay. So your HR specialist, speak with your HR advisor to help you mitigate, run away, get away from risk of employment issues. The one thing that I know that COVID really did was expose a lot of employment issues for a lot of people. How do you hire? How do you rehire? How do you lay off? How do you give someone the ability to take off sick time? You know, what does that look like? What's the communication strategy around sickness? Those things have now changed and repositioned themselves. So it behooves you to have an HR specialist or an advisor in your, either on your board, in your back pocket, you know, in your circle of influence so that you have the ability to tap into that level of resource. So starting this business and designing these plans, it's about connecting with key community partners. It's really about reflecting why you do what you do, expressing your mission and your vision clearly, as well as the value that you operate under. Okay. Remember this. When we talk about value, when we talk about products, when we talk about service, remember this. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. So let's go back to your reasoning again. It's your mission. Why are you doing this? Is it because you want to feed 5,000 people? Is it because you want to provide access to other groups of individuals? Is it because you are dying to level the playing field? What is it? Why are you doing what you're doing? Right? Why are you doing it? So remember, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And this is a quote from Simon Sinek. And I thought that was really, really interesting. So I said, let me share that with this group. So just think about that sometimes. So when we're talking about why we do what we do, We're also talking about the financial mindset that we need to have when we're going into access to capital. How should we position ourselves? What should our mindset be like when we're looking to get funding, right? What is the bank's mindset about me? What is the bank's mindset about you? What exactly is the bank saying in regards to should we or should we not lend this funding? So let's look. The bank and financial institution's mindset. They want to know, does the client have industry experience? So when you're writing your business plan, because remember, 9 out of 10 business plans will go across a financial institution's desk, especially if we're looking for traditional lending, right? So the traditional lending, they're going to want to know, do you have industry experience? If you do not have industry experience, the thing that I always tell people to do is begin to volunteer. So let's just say you're a trucker and you love to bake, but you haven't done it from a selling standpoint or an entrepreneur standpoint. So as you're doing your trucking business that you do now, transition and start to volunteer at places where you can bake or create a bakery on your own and make some sales on the weekend. Okay? Your financial institution is going to want to know, has the client contributed cash to the business? So the question is, how much money have you invested in this business? 5, 10, 15,000? How much have you invested in this business? Because that's what the bank is gonna want to know. If this is an important endeavor to you and you're asking them to make it an important endeavor to them, they're gonna want to know, how important is it to you and have you invested in yourself? Okay. They're also going to know, is the business cash flow positive? So if you have been in business between 2 to 5 years or 5 years and more, and you're looking for access to capital, one of the things they're going to want to know is, are you cash flow positive or are you operating in the negative? Okay. Is the business primed for growth and or profitability? So how do you talk about that? And we're going to talk about one of the sections of the business plan that helps to talk about strategic growth and strategies. Okay. Is there a criteria and does the business meet that criteria? So that question really means, does the bank have a criteria set up for approval for small minority women owned businesses? And it's important that you know what that is. So if you're going to a financial institution looking for funding, make sure you ask, are there any criteria that I need to be aware of? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to have a big snafu and you're just being abreast of what that criteria is. That'll be a nightmare. Okay. The other question is, does the client have any activity? Now, this is an important question. Do you have any activity, financial or credit, that has, any credit issues that are reflective of any liens, any bankruptcies, any judgments, any delinquent back pay? Please, if you have some of these, please get these addressed prior to going for access to capital. Because the bank will have some issues if there's lots of bankruptcies or judgments. And now, that's a traditional lender, and of course, they look a little bit more stringent at your background and your past, as opposed to maybe a small, maybe CDFI or a micro lender, right? But they too are going to want to know, what are you doing to rectify these particular issues? So if you have to get lending, let's just say that you have just started to work on the issues, and that's okay. At least be open and honest about that and say, I'm working on them now. I had some issues in the past, but be in the process of the work. All right. They want to know, does the client have a strong statement of purpose? Now, what is the statement of purpose situation? Why you do what you do? It's going to be the same thing that you're going to hear all day and night. Why are you doing what you're doing? What is your reasoning for existence? Why should people purchase from you? Right? These are the questions that are part of your statement of looking for financial funding. Okay? So, remember those questions and think about those answers prior to applying for lending. Now, excuse me, this is what I really like, the 8 C's of banking. This is what the banking institutions are looking for, right? So they want to know cash. How much free cash and cash flow does the client have in the bank? And how much, again, of your own money have you invested in the business? So we talked about getting the bank account, right? Separate bank accounts for the business and personal. Number one, that bank account, is it positive flowing? Does it have free cash? Do you have funds in that account? And how much money of your own money, rather, are you investing into the business? The other C is the collateral. So which assets does the business owner have available to use to secure the loan? Now, let me say this. There are sometimes secure lending and unsecured lending, which means that you could possibly get a loan that is unsecured, which means you need no collateral whatsoever. However, there are other loans that mean that, hey, if you're going for 150,000, we're going to want some collateral, whether that's a vehicle, a car, a house, whatever that is. They're going to, and I say vehicle and car because it could be a truck or something to that effect. But they're going to want to know, what do you have as collateral? Okay. Credit is another C that the banking institutions are looking at. And really what it is what is the business owner's personal and business credit payment history? So again, a huge question always asked as it relates to access to capital. Are they going to look at my personal credit? Yes, you are the grantor. Okay. And they're looking at you. So it's important that you understand what's on your credit. And if you need to get your credit report done, get your credit report done, and then address those things that are outstanding on your credit report. Okay. Capacity. Capacity is cash flow available in the existing business. So they're going to want to know, is there cash available in the existing business? If the business is a startup, the bank will look at the personal cash flow as a source of paying back the loan. So remember this, at the end of the day, the bank wants to know, can you fulfill your obligation of the investment of the loan? Okay? Can you fulfill it? Can you pay it back? And if so, how? Will it be in collateral? Will it be in cash? How are we going to pay it back? Okay. The other C is competence. How much industry experience does the business owner have? And if you lack the experience that is needed, they will look to see if you have a good team of employees, consultants, and or advisors. So you won't be able to be all things to all people. And let's just take the transportation person, trucker, right? Logistics person, and think about a baking shop, where you want to offer baked goods and baked products, right? You may not have that level of experience, but you may have an experienced retail person, an experienced baker, an experienced banker, and a bank advisor, financial advisor. And those are the people that help to make up a good, strong team. So those things will be considered by the financial institution. All right. They're also going to look at character. We've got 3 more to go. So do you conduct your business affairs in an ethical and legal manner? Do you have the character? What are people saying about you? Do you keep your promise and your commitment? Are you honest? Are you loyal? If there's a character witness, again, what would people say about you when you're not in the room? And do you keep your word? Extremely important to the lending agency, right? Because of course, if you're saying you're going to pay back this loan, they want to know, are you going to be able to keep your word? Okay. Commitment. Is the business owner committed? Can you handle a level of commitment to get the work done, to get it completed? Can you handle the level of commitment for education and building yourself in professional development? Can you handle the commitment? Can you handle the commitment of the workload and the follow through with your customers and potential customers, right? So they want to know, can the business owner handle commitment? Are they committed to the business and committed to the process for applying for the lending? Will you just give up, or will you just continue to stay with it and be committed to the end of the process? Lastly, condition or market conditions, right, for giving the loan. So the gas prices are going down, but food prices are still going up. So and housing is now at a weird place, right? So we have high interest rate. Now we've got more inventory left on the ground. So the question is it the right market conditions to give a loan? Is there strong business purpose for the loan, right? Is it enough to give the person a loan? Is there a growth strategy? Did the person or did you as a business owner write up a growth strategy? So I'm going to stop right here and let you review the 8 C's in banking. Again, cash, collateral, and credit, capacity, competence, and character, condition, and commitment. So we talked about that credit, understanding what that credit is, right? So that also means understanding your credit score for lending. So when applying for lending, it is your responsibility, right? And it works benefits for you if you understood the credit score for lending. So many small businesses, again, is this tied to my personal credit? And the answer again is yes. Yes, 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 yes. Your background, your personal will always be used to determine that. Now, if your background and your personal is a little messed up. So let's look at the credit score. I love this chart. It's one of my favorite charts. It's colorful. I love colors. So if you have to take your camera out and take a picture. The question is here. If I have something less than 520, am I likely to get a loan? The answer is facing extreme credit issues and no. You'll have lots of challenges with trying to get lending. Anything in the 500s, considered bad, very poor, or poor, right? And you can have extreme credit issues, several credit issues, and unlikely to qualify, and or usually have some credit issues, will probably not qualify for most loans. So anything less than 520 and up to possibly 619. Possibly 619, right? 619 used to be like you used to be able to get something like an FHA or whatever, but it came with a high credit risk, right? So let's think about the 620 to 679 or close to 680. Mainly qualify for most loans at a significantly higher interest rate. So these are the things that will start to happen when your credit is bad, right? So you want to look at that. Remember this, the answer to the question, are you looking at me personally? The answer is yes. You are the grantor. Your credit score will be used to determine a couple of things. One, the amounts of lending that you will qualify for. If you have a bad credit, low credit score, then the possibility of you getting a loan could be possible. However, the amount that you get will definitely be different. Okay. So helps you to determine the banks or financial institution or whatever it is to determine the amount of lending and the type of lending. So we just talked about possibly FHA. Someone will probably, if you're going for a mortgage in a house, you need PMI. All those things take a factor and take into consideration when there is a challenge with the credit score. Okay. So the amount of lending, the type of lending, and your interest rate. And we know that the interest rate currently is already high. But if you have a challenging credit score, it would be even higher. Okay. Also, the length of your loan. So sometimes you used to be able to get a loan that was, let's say 60 months, 36 months. Now they're offering 8, 9 years because sometimes people's credits are so bad that they have to extend the life of the loan, and plus the car payment back or whatever it is, the lending amount back. Even for the financial institutions who you're getting loans, you have this high credit score, the amount of money that you have to pay back every month could put you out of business if you're not doing receivables and getting money back, right? So those are things that you have to think about. So if you're applying for a grant, you may not need to be concerned about this, right? But your credit, however, in many cases with any financial and funding institution or grant funding, they may require you to do professional development. So for example, if you have a challenging credit score, you may be approved for lending. However, because there's so high levels of challenges, they will most likely require you to attend a professional development, learn a little bit more about how to budget, learn a little bit more about how to pay off those bills, how to work that credit so that you can get additional lending. Okay, so what's really going on here is we're building our business. We're building our business. We talked already about making sure that we were clear on why we are doing what we're doing, right? What is our purpose? Why are we here? What's the reasoning? We were clear on establishing our vision, our mission, understanding what our value is and what we bring to the table, how we show up, what's our brand, what is the mantra that we live by? What are the words that we remind ourselves every day about us doing why we do what we do? What is the legal structure that will take formation of our business, even if we have to pivot, right? Because sometimes you start out as a sole proprietor and you go apply for partnership or a limited liability, right? And then oftentimes you start as LLCs and you're like, listen, I need a corporate tax filing, S Corp or C Corp, because I need to put dividends into the hands of shareholders and things of that nature, right? We talked about making sure we have those key partners in our lives, those key community partners, our bankers, our lawyers, our insurance people, our financial advisors, our accountants, and our HR, okay? And so we also talked about the financial institution, having the right type of mindset, and the mindset of the bank. So what is the bank looking for from us, right? And how should we show up? What are the things that they're looking at? They're looking at these 8 C's: the cash, the capacity, the character, the competence, your credit, and things of that nature. So we understand the importance of understanding that, hey, we're walking in a room, we're looking for a traditional lender. And even if you're looking for an investor, sometimes these angel investors and sometimes our venture capitalist firms, they want the same things that a traditional lender wants. So you have to make sure that you're preparing yourself in that way, and knowing and understanding the credit score is one of the key things. So what are we talking about now? We're talking about building this business again, right? We're adding to this planning and to the business and to the building by building a business plan, knowing our competitor and understanding our target market. So I am so excited that we're walking through the business plan outline. I got a few more minutes, like 20 minutes or so, and hopefully that we should be able to get through it. So one of the things I like to tell people, the very first thing that is a part of the list of things that you do, but is actually the last thing that you write, is the executive summary. Think about that. All business plans need an executive summary, right? Let me back this up for one quick second though, too. So while we're talking about the business plan, the thing that's really important is that you write this down. Why do I need a business plan? Why do I need a business plan? Sometimes people want a business plan because they're looking for funding. Sometimes people need a business plan because they're looking for an investor. Sometimes people need a business plan because they're looking just to develop strategy within their organization. Why do you need the business plan? That is going to be really critical and key for you, and it will help you to understand how you build it out. Okay, so an executive summary. What is it? This is your story. And I like to say it like this to people. It's going to be a narrative type of a story, right? And really what it does, it helps you to tell people why you do what you do. So I say to people things like this. They say, let's just take that baker again. My grandmother used to help me bake cookies. I loved it. It made me feel good. I remember us doing it on a Saturday. I remember the effect that it had on our community, how it was impactful for some people's lives. Why are you doing it? That's part of the executive summary. Tell them the story. So it gives a detailed description of the business and its mission, right? It discusses what the business is, the business that you are in, and why you chose that business. Again, I just said, when I was younger, I started this business at 13. My grandmother inspired me, whatever the reason why, right? It helps you to discuss the ownership of the business and its legal structure. So we talked about the legal structure of the business and who owns it. So if it's a single member LLC, then it would be you. If it's a two-member LLC, then it would be you and someone else, right? The executive's summary also discusses the goals and how the goals can be accomplished. And so you will write that down in the business plan. How do you plan to obtain the goals? Over the next 5 years, we will, like say, for example, you say you want to touch a lot of people. That's the vision, right? Become the household name for the bakery. But what's the goal here? The goal is to open 3 stores in various locations throughout the North Carolina region, the Georgia region, the Florida region. Whatever that is, write it down. That becomes the goal. Your executive summary also discusses the product, the market, or the service that you will provide. Okay, as well as it discuss what makes the business unique. That is the key. What makes you different? Take a sip. What makes you different from other businesses? What is the absolute niche? Okay, so those are the things that will be in your executive summary. Part of the executive summary will also talk about things like, let me go back for 1 second. What will define your success? So we talked about the goals. What actually is going to define the success of the business? What's the drive in the revenue? How will you handle your customer service? Will it be adaptability? Is it authenticity? What will define the success of this business? It could be all 4 of these and some more, but you are going to have to figure out how do you articulate that in a narrative form in your business plan. Okay. So again, we talked about what is your product or service, the brand and the offering, the brand and the offering. So number 1, Your executive summary is part of the business plan. Number 2, products or services. Now, with your products and services, you're going to describe the benefit of your goods and your services from your customer's perspective and not yours. It's going to be from your customer. What is your customer looking to get out of this? Okay. What are you selling, or what service are you providing? What are you selling and what service are you providing? So write these questions down. What is your product and service? What is the benefit of your goods and your services? And that's from your customer's perspective, right? What are your customers wanting and expecting from your business? What are they looking for you to provide? What are they looking for? Okay. Are you providing your customers with clear messaging about your product and services? So, for example, your business plan should have in there the availability, the quality, and the price. Say it again. The availability, the quality, and the price. And I'm going to say this, in the early stages of your business, the founders often struggle to come up with really a strong message. So if you're offering fabric, or you're offering clothing or some type of product, be really clear. If you're in consultation and it is a service, be really clear about your consultation services, right? Describe what you are selling and understand if it's quality, if it's product, if it's service, if it's availability. What is the niche? Are you open more hours than the next person? Is your pricing better than the next person? Okay, so it's really important that you understand this, because this is a huge impact on your ability to raise money, to find the right customers, to attract the right type of employees. Okay, this is not this surprising that some people have such a hard struggle. Okay, messaging is a combination of you, your service, and your passion. It is a combination of you, your service, and your passion. So bring clear messaging, right? And make sure you wrap all of that into your passion. But remember, we talked about the vision, the mission, and the value, right? Your value helps to define the product and services, which means that if you say you're offering hair care products, you want to bring the best hair care products because your value tells you you're committed. Your value tells you that you're loyal. These are the same characteristics and traits that the bank is looking for, right? Remember, those are the things, part of the 8 C's that they're looking for in you and getting out of your product. So understand your business, define your concepts, right? What are your customers' pain points? What are your customers' pain points? And again, is it filling a need? Is it filling a need? And who needs it? Right? And why does your customer want your product? Remember that. And also, the question on the table says, define how much you believe your customer will pay. The reality is, how much will you pay for the same service that you're offering someone else? How much will you pay? So part of figuring out and designing and defining your concept is really doing the customer segmentation. It's really sitting down and thinking and brainstorming about the ideas about your products and your services. And it's about creating a market segmentation matrix, which means that you'll like put on 3 blocks And let's just say you have a product that you want to sell to, that you think that you want to sell to the school. So you may say this is a school product, it's a learning educational component. Well, who in the school needs it? Right? Now, who in the school wants it? Those are two different people. Your teacher may want it, but why? Your students need it, but why? Your parents love it, but why? So you got three levels of customer segmentation. Each one of them have a different type of need for your product. So it's important to understand what are the many market opportunities that go with each market segmentation, because they will all have it differently. People care about the product differently, right? Kids care about fashionable shoes different than mom. The moms and the parents only care about getting footwear on your feet. The kids care about, are these classy, right? So it's a whole different situation. The gym teacher may say, I'm just glad you got it so that way you could participate in gym. There's a different segmentation. So just remember that when you're dealing with your products and your services, okay? Number three, first we have the executive summary. Number two, we have our customer, right? Number two is talking about, let's talk about it again. It is talking about our products and our services. Number two is our product and our services and who our customer is, who we literally sell them as to. Number three is our growth strategy. So initially when we were talking about, well, what does it look like to grow? What does that mean? So one of the things and one of the tools that is really important is a SWOT analysis. A SWOT analysis is generally utilized for companies who are either introducing a new product or service, those that are interested in growing, right? Of course, because it's market penetration, you want to go somewhere different and you want to offer different things. So one of the things you want to do is a growth strategy. So you make a list of all of the main competitors that you have, go through each one of the lists and determine their strengths and their weaknesses, right? And the same for yourself. What does their business have that you don't have? So you're talking about penetrating the market. Let's just say you say, well, I want to offer new chicken nuggets and I'm Wendy's, and you know Chick-fil-A already has them and so does Zaxby's. So as a business, you will create a SWOT analysis because now you're introducing a new product line, right? And that SWOT analysis will help you to determine the strengths and weaknesses of your organization and or the strengths and weaknesses of another organization. You can do an external, right? Or you can do internal. So what is your competitor's sales and revenue? How much money are they making? How much are they charging for the product? Do a SWOT analysis to determine, do you fall within those guidelines and those lines, right? How much are they selling their product and service for? And how many people do they have on staff? God, that is one of the my favorite questions. And who do they have on staff? Because sometimes there's a level of a manager or someone that's on the team that may have helped that organization increase its revenue exponentially. So it's important that you understand and you know who that person really is, okay? So pay very close attention to the organizational structure of your competitor. Another thing is how long or how many years have they been in business? Okay. So if you look at this SWOT analysis, the things that you see as a strength, what are some of the strengths? They got loyal customers, they got hardworking employees, they got low prices. What is a weakness? Low profits, ineffective systems. Where does the opportunity lie, right? There may be opportunities that lie in the market growth. Now, what threats are presented to this company? High unemployment rate, they got a high level of turnover. So when you're thinking about doing a strategic growth plan, create a growth strategy around a SWOT analysis. Use this tool and help to explain, certain things about the business. Also, your growth plan should explain 6 months to 1 year growth of your business. Explain the 1 year to 5 year growth of your business. So you got 6 months to 1 year, 1 year to 5 year, and explain how success will be measured for that business. What does success look like? Is it more customers? Is it more revenue? Is it satisfaction of the employee? Is it satisfaction of the customers? What does success look like for your business? And make sure you can define what that looks like. So having a new mindset means, creating new results. It's having good feedback, constructive feedback. It's about training your brain to say what you can do and overlooking those old statements of what you can't. It's always having a plan B, or realizing that you're not perfect and mistakes are there to help you grow. And that if you put your mind to it, you can do anything. Now, we talked about the growth strategy tools. Now, there are some other tools. SWOT is one, and another one is a fishbone. And other ones is, how do you analyze the problem? What is going on in the society that is causing you to want to bring a new product to the market or introduce a new market? Segmentation. You got new product to the same market, or you have a new market with a different product, right? So let's say that one more time. So examples of strategies for growth is the key difference between product development and market development. Whereas the product development, which we just talked about, is the strategy that focuses on developing new products, product development in an existing market. So will you develop a new product or service because that market may be shifting and then there's a greater need for an additional product, right? Or will you create a new market, right, which is a new market development, which helps to identify and develop new market segments for existing products. So where you create a new market segmentation. So instead of going after the 14 to 22-year-olds who are maybe African-American females and, that live in a suburban area, you want another market segmentation, okay? So what does the customer want out of your product? What does your customer want out of your product? What are customers interested in for your product? So you want to ask yourself a couple of questions. How do I diversify? How do I expand? What is the consultation that I give, right? How does sales and marketing look? So what type of customer are you working with? And who are the different types of customers you are trying to reach? What type of customer are you working with? And who are the different types of customers that you are trying to reach? That's a part of your growth strategy. Number 4, industry analysis and competition. So you see all of these little circles and these little boxes, little circles here. Your industry analysis competition. Who are they? Are there any trends in the industry, within the industry? Are there any trends within the industry? Has things shifted? So let's just say for now, people used to eat food and flour and nobody eats gluten-free. Things are gluten-free. There's a shift within the industry. So you have to know what those shifts are, okay? How will your company manage those particular types of shifts? So if you are in the baking industry and you know that there's no gluten, will you still offer gluten and then shift to no gluten? How do you plan to manage that? Okay. Discuss the advantages and or the disadvantages. Who are the 5 nearest direct competitors that you have? How are their businesses? Are they steady? Are they increasing? Are they decreasing? What does that look like? How are their businesses, right? What does that look like for them? And then what have you learned from them and their operations? What have you learned from them, their operations, and they're advertising. So are they marketing 6 times a week? What are they doing that's different in this industry? So your industry competition is extremely important. And one thing is you have to understand who is your competitor. All the time people say, I don't have a competitor. Yeah, you do. But sometimes people say the Walmart is my competition. No, it's not. So identify the right market, the right size of competitor so that you can do the best of getting an analogy out of who it is that you're competing with and that you can compete on the fair grounds, right? From pricing structure to staffing and all of that, right? What are they offering and how much are they offering? And then what's their advantage? Do they open up early? Do they have more staff? Are their staff more educated? What is the team dynamics, right? And are they creating a demand? And can you create a demand for a product? There was a company that just opened a skateboarding area, right? And it's like, well, nobody ever even thought of that before. All the people out here who are doing skateboarding. So he opened up a skateboarding park. It is cool. So he's created a demand. He has a competitive advantage because there's nobody else that has one that I've seen, right? So understand what's the advantage here. And if because you have people who are in love with that, the pricing structure, because there is none, there's a market for it. So people are willing to go to the movies. So the question is, are they direct or indirect? So let's just talk about that for 1 second. So you have people who will go to the movies and spend $15 for a ticket. Well, they spend $15 to go into the park. Direct or indirect competitor. Okay. So an indirect competitor is someone that is in the same industry as you. Entertainment is the industry we're talking about here. Okay. A direct competitor is someone is doing basically the same thing that you're doing. So understand who your competitor is. One of the things that I like to utilize is this particular tool. This tool tells us competitor A, B, C, and then you as your business. And then the last column talks about how should your business compete. So if you look on the left-hand side, you see a bunch of questions. Where is the competitor located? What are the competitors' annual sales? Who are the major managers and members? I tell you, that's an extremely important question. What is their price structure? What are the company's marketing activities? So you would find at least 3 competitors and you would fill these answers in, and then you would fill the answer in for yourself. This tool helps you to identify where your competitors are, how they operate, and then where you can see yourself in line of all 3. So let's just say, for example, when we're talking about pricing, let me go back for 1 quick second. So what is the price structure? So let's just say competitor A, whatever the product is, they offer it for $25. Competitor B offers it for $50, $75. Competitor C offers it for $45. So you got a $25, $75, and $45. Now you've got 3 pricing structures that you have the ability to look at to say, you know what? I can come between all 3 of these. And I have the same product. So understanding what your competitor does, even if it's a location. Sometimes people are too far out. Sometimes people are too close in. Sometimes people are in the city. Sometimes people are in the suburb, in the urban area. So where's the location that you will plant your business and the product for the products and services that you are offering, and making sure that it's appropriate according to the demographics of the people that you are serving, right? So great. Now, this is your scorecard. So when we talk about the quality, we talked about clear messaging, the quality, the variety, the service, the pricing. These are things that you can gauge the business by and use it as a scorecard. You grade them on this. What is their reputation? What is their expertise? Do they offer great credit policies? Do they offer great refund policies? So you would score these and then you would score yourself. This will help you identify where do you fall in line as it relates to the scoring systems based on the characteristics of the business. So you might say customer A may have a customer service of 10. Customer B may be 2. Competitor or customer C may be 8. So this gives you an idea. Even with the price of A, the price may be a good low price, and the customer service may be a high customer service. So you might have good price, good customer service. So people like, right? So now you can figure that out on how to score that individual and how to place your business in that competitive market. Basically, what you're trying to think about is your unique selling proposition. What's different about you? What sets you apart? Again, what is the quality that you're bringing in? Who are you helping to sell this product to? And it has to come from your customer's perspective, right? So this is your value proposition. So it helps you to identify your customer's pain point. So when we talk about pricing, we talk about customer service, those are parts of the pain point that we've identified in customers. Sometimes customers can't find what they're looking for in a location that's close by. Right? So that's a pain point. So when you're designing your value proposition, first, talk about your products and your service. Second, talk about the pain relievers that you're going to offer. And then three, what are the gains from this? What happens when people get what they need? So if it's, let's just say, for instance, it's fast food. Well, you know what? Let's say this. Let's just say it's the drive-through at Harris Teeter. So the pain point was people were not able to get out when they needed to get their food, or especially during COVID, things of that nature. So these stores created this drive-through. You can now order online, pick up, and we'll put it in your car. You can go. Pain reliever of time, crunching time, not being able to shop, a pain reliever from coming from work and trying to go and spend 20 more minutes or 30 more minutes in the store. Pain reliever. So the value proposition is really from your customer perspective. What are you offering from your customer's perspective that is adding value to your customer, right? Number 5, sales marketing, sales marketing, sales marketing, sales marketing, sales marketing, sales marketing. So we talked about identifying the customer and the demands for the product and the service, identifying the market. And one of the things of doing the research is identifying the size of the market, which means if you live in a specific zip code and there's only a few of the things that are offered in your specific zip code, the question is, what's the size of the market? And can you penetrate that market? So let's just say golf courses, right? You're in this area. It's probably a huge area. Maybe it's 50,000 people that live in it, but there's only 2 golf courses. The top population of people is men. They golf a lot, right? So how do you identify the size of that? Doing your research helps you to identify the size. And you may say, hey, I'm going to get me a golf course, and I'm going to take about 2 to 10% of this population, which comes out to about 2,500 to about 5,000 customers, right? So now you've identified your market share. You identify your market share. But before you make those determinations, it's important to understand, is this market growing? Is it steady? Are more people golfing? Could you get a different dynamic of group of individuals? Could it be students? Could it be women? It's all about the marketing strategy, right? So a sales marketing, identify the customers and their demands for your product and service. Identify your market size and the location. And again, identify if the market is growing, if it's steady, if it's declining. And is your market share steady and growing? And are your markets large enough to expand? The other thing for you to figure out is, how will you attract, retain, and increase your market? So those are some of the things that you would think about from the market share perspective. Okay. Number 6 is management and operations. So operations, the business owner. We talked about doing a SWOT analysis. We talked about you being the business owner. The question is, do you have the entrepreneurial skills needed to do the job? And if you don't, then don't worry, get it. or build a team around you that can. So how does your background or your business experience help you in this business? Who will be on the management team? Have you conducted a SWOT on you and your team? Everything that we talked about, the sales and the marketing, the value proposition, the unique selling proposition, the competitive analysis, what the price is, all of this is written in the business plan. I don't want you to get sidetracked because we're going through these sections, but it is written in the business plan. Okay. So how does your background work? Who will be on your team? Again, what is their experience and roles and responsibilities? In your plan, you're going to list the employees and their experience, and you'll put job descriptions. Okay. What are your plans for hiring? What does your package look like? Is there an incentive? Do you have benefits? All of that. What is the salary? What is the vacation and the holiday? What are the benefits? Discuss who will maintain your accounting functionality. This is all part of the operations. So, is your team equipped and well balanced? Have you hired? And listen to this. Have you hired for skill or for ease? Because sometimes when we can hire for skill, and sometimes we can hire for ease. Oh man, I had this job. It was open for over a year. Can't find anybody to fill it. So we hire for ease instead of skill. So it's important, especially as a small business owner, that you hire for both skill and ease. Have you listed and identified each role critical to the organization? What's critical to your organization? There are roles that people can fill, but what is literally critical to the level of your organization? So have a different mindset about things. Understand what it means to have a different mindset, right? So new mindset, new results. Thinking about all of those other things lead us to the major thing that's in the business plan, which is the finances. What is your budget? What is your startup strategy? How much money will you need to start up? Have you developed a monthly operating budget? Put all of these things inside of your business plan. Develop a source and use of capital, right? Talk about your accounting structure, and your accounting systems, right? Again, the best thing you can do is be clear on your products and your services. You're going to provide a projected income statement, balance sheet, and a cash flow. Okay. Again, if your business plan is about getting money, you're going to list your collateral and the approximate market value. All right. So think about that. Why do you have this business plan? The thing too is to remember, it's important that you remaster your numbers. People say, what kind of numbers? I'm not a numbers person. Well, these are all the numbers that you need to think about in the business. Your debt to ratio, your net profit, your size of your market, your key performance metrics. These are things that you will talk about inside of your business plan. How do you measure your business? How do you know if you're going to be successful? What is the market analysis saying about your business? How will you reach that break-even point, right? These are key elements about the business. What is your startup budget and how much money will you need? This is a list, again, of a small startup budget. This is what it looks like to have a startup budget. And I always say to small business owners and business owners, period, list everything on the left-hand side. I might not have everything that you see that you can think about in your business. But what is key for you is for you to list everything on your left-hand side. In the middle column, you're going to list the entire dollar amount. Now, let me tell you this. Don't be afraid of what you see at the bottom. You might say, oh, I don't need a lot of money to start up. But then when you start to list everything from professional fees to supplies and services to vehicles and trucks to maintenance, You'll come up with some huge number, and it could potentially scare you, but don't let it scare you and scare you away of starting this wonderful business. Okay? So don't let it scare you. On the right-hand side, you see another sheet. It says monthly cost. So basically, you just list everything that you're going to spend on a month, whether it's advertising, whether it's delivery service, could be your credit card fee. It could be, again, your repairs, your supply, your utilities, whatever it is, list it, because this will be your monthly cost. And then you'll know how much product you need to sell to make sure you're making a good net profit. Okay? So when we think about our financial planning, we think about identifying our startup cost, particularly to our industry. We think about completing our financial bank statements and our financial statements, and we think about creating that estimated worksheet. The thing about access to capital that you have to remember too in creating this business plan, if you're creating this plan for traditional lending, is that the bank is going to want to know. Again, we talked about the investment that you have. So do you have a 3 to 6 month cushion? And how will you survive when you start this business? Will it come on the backs of the help and support of family members? So it's important to identify what that looks like. Okay? We got a few more minutes. So lastly is understanding your financial. So in your business plan, it's going to be important that you incorporate your cash flow here, what you see here, which is your cash flow management and your startup budget. And basically your cash flow is the amount of money going in and out of your business on a daily basis. A lot of people get nervous about their cash flow, but understand this, you manage your cash flow every single day. Yes, you do. So you start out with a beginning balance, you have expenses that happen throughout the month, then you end up with a ending balance, and then you have stuff that goes out. At the end of the day, you have a closing balance. That's your cash flow. We do this every day without even thinking about it consciously. The other financial statement that you will include into your business plan is your profit and loss statement. And that is really about the gross sales that you make, any cost of goods sold, which means any amount of money it costs to create that product. Then you have your operating expenses, which means your sales, your advertising, your payroll. It could be your vehicles, your wages, insurance, all of those things come out. And at the end of the day, when you have that total operating expense, you have what is left over is your operating income. And then you might have some extra things, right? Which is your taxes and things of that nature. The last financial sheet is going to be your balance sheet. And your balance sheet helps your stakeholders and people who are interested in your business and you as a manager of your business to understand at a glance where you are at that very moment. So it always has your assets, your liabilities, and your owner's equity. Okay. So those are the 3 components that will be in your business plan. Remember to build your business plan from the 1 year, 3 year, 5 year projection. Okay. Lastly, here's your community resources. You have GMIN as one of your resources that you will utilize. You also have NAV-GA. There is a SCORE office in your location, a Women's Business Center, the Georgia Center for Nonprofit, as well as the Department of Revenue. So do not forget to utilize these particular types of services. They are great. They are a great resource for you and for your business, okay? So utilize them as much as possible. And then lastly, I just want to say again, thank you so much for joining me this time around as we talk about building our business plan. I am hoping that you got so much out of this session. I truly, truly enjoy being with you. And so I look forward to your success of your business and the success of you doing exactly what you were here meant to be and purpose to do. So we're finishing up. It's about 1:23. You got about a couple minutes I'm giving back to you, but I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to be with you tonight. All right. So thank you so much. And again, thank you, NAV-GA, for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity. See you soon.